The following game has been rated M for mature by the ESRB for blood and gore, intense violence, sexual themes, use of alcohol, and language. What that means is that this game is only appropriate for those aged 17 and up. Therefore, anyone not in that age bracket should not be watching this video. You have been warned.
Greetings and salutations, I am Outlier and I bid you welcome to this channel. Joining me today is of course my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today we're returning back to the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. So the premise of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, or Skyrim as it's generally known, is that you are an adventurer thrust into a land of adventure, for lack of a better term. That's why you're an adventurer. But Skyrim is a land of great opportunity, great wonders, and also terrible and horrific dangers. Most notably in the form of a dragon, which showed up to halt your execution. Because it seems like the glaring theme in the Elder Scrolls games is that you start off either in prison or about to die. At least the various games that I've played originally. To be fair, I've only played the Elder Scrolls 3, 4, and this one. But when 3 out of the current 5 titles have you starting in similar positions and states, I would assume that it's the running theme for the entirety of the series. But basically, for those who haven't seen last episode, we were arrested crossing into the border. We were about to be executed, and then a dragon, a terrifying flying lizard of mythic proportions, shows up, halts the execution, and burns down the entire fortress with which we are imprisoned. In which, given the fact that, for those who wish to know, I'm not certain if it's considered spoiler territory at this point, but basically your character is prophesized, your character is prophesized to be the Dragon Reborn. I could be confusing it with the Wheel of Time. Dragonborn, yes. Your character is known as the Dragonborn, and it's his task to basically slay all the dragons and defeat Alduin, the World Eater, who is the dragon that showed up to burn down the entire fortress. That's a very good point, and one that I've always wondered about. I mean, if the dragon was late by mere minutes, your character would be killed, there would be no game, and Alduin would be, if I'm pronouncing the name correctly, would be free to, well, eat the world, as he is so named. But he didn't do that, and we're now free, and also, for those who haven't seen last episode, once we escaped the fortress, we went to a nearby town known as Riverwood, and there we were given 2 tasks. One is the main storyline quest, which is to travel to the province, or hold as they're called, capital of Whiterun? Yeah, I believe that's the name. And talk to the leader there, the Jarl, and request additional support for Riverwood, because Riverwood has practically no defenses, being a sleepy little logging community that it actually is, even though it is on the one main road between here and there. And it is not entirely defenseless. It does have two walls. One side's bordered by an easily passable river, and the other's a mountain, but yeah, it has some defenses. There are villages and towns in this game that have less. But that's a moot point. And the other task that we were given is is from the local general store owner, and it's to reclaim an artifact of his, a golden object in the shape of a dragon claw from a nearby crypt known as Barrows. So, I'm given two options to proceed in this game, and I left it right off at having to choose because, well, I felt like it, truth be told. And that's right where I'm going to be picking it back up from, having to choose, and with, well, nothing else to add, this game is, of course, made by... Thank you again. And that being said, let us begin.
Alright, so here we are at the edge of Riverwood, right on the bridge leading to either Whiterun, which is off in this direction, I believe. Let me look at the map real quick. Alright, so on the world map, locations I have discovered have light icons, while locations you have only heard about have dark icons. You can select any location you discovered to fast travel to it. Alright, so this is Whiterun. It's technically a dark icon because I haven't been there yet. And I have to talk to the Jarl of Whiterun, which is right here if my controller would cooperate. And then we also have Bleak Barrows, where the other quest is located, which is Retrieve the Golden Claw. Now, I've played this game multiple times, and while I haven't actually bothered to complete it, I have played this sequence quite often, and I know what's going to happen. So, while I do have a choice between Whiterun and the crypt, I'm going to head off to the crypt, because A, it's a side quest, and side quests can get plentiful and numerous, and clog the menu and compass bars if you're not paying attention. And so it's best to get them out of the way as quickly as possible. And plus, I know what's going to happen, and I'm stuck on something, aren't I? Get back here. Alright, so I just killed a wolf. And as I was saying, and another reason to complete this first off before heading to Whiterun is I know that the main storyline has you going here anyway, so you know, might as well just complete it on the way, as it were. Alright, so I don't actually have anything favorited, so let's actually go to the menu and Alright, so favorites. While in-game, pressing up on the control pad to open the favorites menu, which allows you to quickly use or equip items you have marked as your favorites. So it's basically a way of selecting items and weapons quickly. So, like for instance, now that I have my weapons favorited, I can basically, you know, the game will pause and I can select between them. So I can have the battle axe initially equipped, or I can just simply switch to favorites and then select either the war axe, or the war axe and sword, or I can switch to the longbow relatively easily. As opposed to opening up this menu, going to items, and then selecting through the various sub-menus which items I want. And conversely, I can also have magic favorited, so I can have healing sparks and flames selected. And that's just because I'm an Imperial character, that's just my racial power, for lack of a better term. Right, and you see, and if you look at the compass, there are all these various darker icons showing up. That's because the land of Skyrim is populated by, well, quite a few things, and a lot of the times all these sublocations and secondary places you find just by wandering about. And since Bleak Falls Barrows is at the top of a mountain... Wrong button. Wrong button. Say, where is crouch? And I've been seen. Now I'm not. There's a bandit up here. I've been seen again. No, I'm not. Now I've been seen. No, I'm not. I've been detected again. Fairly certain they're staring right at me. But these are also bandits, so let's just go at it. And see, this is what I mean. I can select between various equipment on the fly and just go like that. Alright, and I know YouTube probably doesn't like showing people in their underwear, but no, relatively new in the game, so it's basically just grab everything not nailed down and whatever I can pry back up. Well, whatever I can pry back up, I should say.
You won't live to see tomorrow.
It said the female bandit I just basically, well, killed. Oh look, coins. And various other extra knickknacks and other things that I probably don't have the carrying capacity for. In fact, I'm fairly certain I don't have the carrying capacity for what I just picked up, and even though I'm at like half carry weight. Because I'm fairly certain I sold all, well actually I probably dumped all the extra junk and whatnot that I was running around with in Helgen. Which is the starting fortress for those who haven't seen last episode.
You picked a bad time to get lost, friend.
Oh, I'm not lost. Oh, he's got a shield. Didn't stop a battle axe to the head, but okay. Alright, and even though my armor is, well, upgraded slightly, the armor that the bandit I just killed is slightly better, so I'm going to equip his armor, or at the very least, boots and helmet and armor that he had. I do have access to a shield, I should probably favor that too. But he didn't have any arm protection, so I'm still using the fur gloves that I had before. And I can search all the barrels and just take, well, all the food that they have. Food's an important healing item, well, secondary class of healing item, I guess, which is where all the jokes come in about somebody carrying 200 wheels of cheese. That's not the run mechanic. That's also not the run mechanic. Been a while since I've played this game, so... Alright, where is jump? That's jump, okay. Alright, I don't know why I'm doing this. I mean, I can clearly see there's nothing of interest on the other side of this gap, but... Stop crouching. I just want to get across. Of course, I could just simply leap over it that way without actually trying to run. But again, there's nothing over there. At the very top of this place, we have a chest. does not look like to be trapped, so let's just open up. We get 55 gold, 4 lockpicks, and a petty soul gem that's already filled with petty soul. Goody. So soul gems are important for enchanting. That's a skill set I partake in quite a lot later in game. For now, it's just nice to have. So, those were some bandits protecting this path, I guess. I believe. Yeah, this is the way towards the barrow. Essentially, they were a guard post on the way to the barrows, because the barrows is infested with bandits. Hey, lots of bandits. And since it's one against many, it's probably best to crouch. I'm fairly certain there are a few bandits out here. Yep, I'm being seen. And sneak has increased to 16, which nets me, well, here are the bandits. Just shoot him. As that hits the ground, stop going third person. And switch to the battle axe, because he also has a battle axe. And he's now dead. Where are you? Oh, you also have a longbow. Okay. Oh, there you are. I think I missed. I see the subtitles going on at the bottom of the screen, but I can't actually see what they're saying. Although Ga seems to be pretty much self-explanatory. Alright, and let's just loot the corpses while I'm here. Oh look, free arrow. Oh look, another free arrow, although I think that might have been one of mine. Alright, and where's the arrow I shot into the steps? Because the steps knows what it did. That's not true. Alright, probably gone into the ether, and I'm still under attack, so... Alright, got it. Close range arrow duel. Stand still so I can shoot you. As I shoot him, I'm fairly certain in the knee, which is also a running joke thing in this game. For those who know.
Do your worst.
Okay. For the record, that arrow isn't in my character's knee, it's in his shin, I think. Oh well, doesn't matter. Anyway. Right, and thankfully, my character comes pre-equipped with a healing spell. It's one of those heal over time deals, and it takes forever, and it burns through magic like it's nobody's business. Another thing that I can do is, if I get the right menu up, is I can level up. So leveling up. When your level increases, you must choose to increase your health, magic, or stamina. You can also select a new perk at this time or save it for later. Additional perks are highlighted. Available perks are highlighted in each constellation. So what do I want up? Magicka, health, or stamina. Health increases one's health. Stamina increases one's stamina, as well as, I think, the carry weight. Whereas Magicka increases the magic capabilities. Now, I like keeping everything even, and so let's just start with health. Also, everything refills, so it's one way to, well, instantly heal your character. Right, and the perk points allows me access to the various skill trees, so if I don't completely exit out of the menu, you know, every skill has a various skill tree, and each point in the skill tree gets you access to interesting perks and other things. Like, for instance, the two-handed skill tree gets me its starting skills is known as Barbarian, which 200 weapons do 20% more damage. I can choose to put my perk point in this one, and it'll give me access to, well, basically 200 weapons doing 20% more damage. So instead of something doing 100 damage, it'll do 120 if I did the math correctly in my head. Now, skill trees do require the skill to be of a certain height, so for instance, as well as prior skills to be unlocked. So for instance, if I select Barbarian this skill, well, this level, but I never use two-handed weapons ever again, or at least until the next skill point, the tree would allow me to pick up either Limb Splitter, Deep Wounds, Skull Crusher, or Champion Stance, I wouldn't be able to get any because if I hadn't used two-handed skill, my two-handed skill, and level it up to a certain point between now and then, I wouldn't be able to get any of these other skills that I mentioned because Limb Splitter requires two-handed to be at 30, as does Deep Wounds and Skull Crusher, whereas Champion Stance requires it to be 20, and it's currently 17. So if it doesn't go up, I wouldn't be able to get anything else. And if I want with one-handed weapons instead, my first option is Armsman, and then I could go to Dual Fury, but that also requires being level 30 in one-handed skill, although Fighting Stance only requires 20, and my one-handed skills are already at 22. So if I had 2 perk points, I could actually get both Armsman and Fighting Stance at the same time. Or, you know, if one-handed never went up between now and level 3, I could still get Fighting Stance because it doesn't have that high of a requirement. Now, I do like building things, so what I'm actually going to do is put the perk point into steelsmithing. And my skill lights up, that skill point lights up because it's now active. And while smithing doesn't help me, say in this scenario where I'm fighting bandits and, you know, having better armor that reduces the amount of damage that you take, or weapons that deal more damage, while that would be helpful in this scenario, smithing in the long run will actually be more of a benefit because it allows me to build better weapons and armor. Also, the higher smithing goes, the more I can enhance weapons. Well, not so much more, but the further I can enhance weapons. So if I were to, say, refine a weapon to fine, and it does 2 points of damage now, if I let the smithing skill get higher, eventually it will be, and now I know this is a bandit right here, so I'm just going to shoot him as I hit the barrel between him and me, and I miss completely. That one hit. As did that, but now they see me. But that works. As I fire off a spare arrow, God knows where, because for some reason I'm thinking crouch is on the clicking the the right stick, whereas it's the left. Right, and I'm now over carry weight, so... Oh look, skeevers, which are essentially large rats. So I'm just going to take their tails, because I can. Okay, that's weird. There's like a third bandit here. So either he was killed by the skeevers, or I shot him without realizing it. But again, I'm currently overweight, so I'm going to have to make room. And the weapons weigh the most, so... we just drop the battle axe, those maces, this warhammer. And now I'm back underweight. So I'm just going to collect all the skeever tails because they're an alchemic reagent and can be used for alchemy purposes. Alright, and since this is essentially a crypt and every crypt needs a creepy altar, here's the creepy altar. And I'm once again over encumbered. And someone was carrying a steel war axe, which even unrefined does the same amount of damage as my iron war axe, which I have augmented. So I'm going to keep that one for now. Oh look, a woodcutter's axe. Don't need it, but I'm going to take this tail. I pity there's no charred skeever here, because charred skeever hide is quite useful for alchemy. I don't remember what it does outside of creating cure disease potions, but I remember it being rather useful in that regard. Alright, so there's a steel sword and some iron armor in this chest. I'm just going to take them out of the chest and then drop them back down. Well, the steel sword is about as useful as my current iron sword, so I'll keep that anyway. Just bring this back over here. Now, I could technically leave everything in the chest, but I'm fairly certain the stuff in the chests despawns after a while, and while I like to think I'll eventually be back here to pick up all the extra goodies I'm leaving behind, let's be honest, I'm probably not going to be back here ever again. So kind of people to leave lights along the way, because I'm fairly certain this place would be incredibly dark without them. And to be fair, there are bandits living in this area, so they're the ones that probably lit the lamps. Linen wrap, I believe, has no use. I question why I'm planning on just stealing from burial urns. Seems rather disrespectful. But early game, take everything that's not nailed down and whatever can pry back up. So, there's that.
Time to end this decay.
Okay. We just get the big axe out. As I missed completely. And then he dies. Pick up a torch. Just stop to heal real quick. Alright, now I saw a whole bunch of red dots on the compass all of a sudden, so I'm assuming there's going to be quite a few people in here. And there isn't, but this is a puzzle, so for this type of puzzle I have to match these icons in a certain order, and the order is shown here, and this one I believe is supposed to go in the middle, so it's supposed to be 2 snakes and a whale. At least I'm assuming that's a whale, and those are snakes. There's also birds. So let's rotate this pillar for 2 snakes and a whale. And when I pull this lever, it should open the door. And it does. Because it works. And if it hadn't worked, either the lever wouldn't open or something else would happen. Potion of minor healing. And a book entitled Thief, which is an amusing story, or at least a collection of stories, which I shall look at later. It's, I believe, actually book 2, and it makes more sense if read in sequence. And look, a lesser soul gem, which is another kind of soul gem, much like the petty soul gem. And I'm about to be attacked by skeevers, so... maybe not. Let's just char the skeever myself, even though that doesn't create charred skeever hide. I like how the magic flames you produce don't actually cause you damage. And I go up to level 2 already. So, since I said I like keeping them even, let's go with stamina next. And I now have 1 extra perk point, so I can put it... so if I had my smithing skill up, I can put it into either arcane blacksmith, dwarven smithing, or elven smithing, which basically allows me to produce... well, steel smithing allows me to produce steel items, improve them twice as much. Dwarven smithing allows me to make dwarven equipment, or dwarven themed equipment. Elven does the same, but for elven gear. And then arcane allows me to enchant, to improve magical weapons and armor. Basically the stuff that's already been pre-enchanted. Or that I enchant myself. But because they require, well, dwarven and elven smithing requires 30 smithing each, or whereas arcane smithing requires 60, I can't actually use any, or get any of them. Whereas if I look at enchantment, new enchantments are 20% stronger for the initial one, and basically they do extra things further down the line. If I go all the way over here to alchemy, so potions and poisons I can make are 20% stronger for initially, and then you know, it just basically increases the various effects of the various potions. Although experimenter is also nice because you originally don't know what the ingredients are going to do, and the one way to discover what they do is to basically eat them and feel the effects. So the experimenter ability allows you to see what more than one effect is, and it's not a random effect, but you know, it's helpful to determine what things are. Because eating random stuff is probably something you don't want to do, especially when some of that stuff is like gemstones or giant's toes or just stuff that you know isn't, you know, actually food. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this perk point into bows. So I'm going to get Overdraw, which bows do 20% more damage. And what I actually want is Eagle Eye, which allows me to zoom in while aiming by pressing block. So basically makes further things appear closer, so I can have a better chance of actually hitting what I'm trying to aim at. Alright, where'd that skeever go? Oh, there you are. There's a lot of cobwebs in here. Oh look, Scroll of Fireball. So scrolls are one-time use magical things. A weak paralysis poison, which I can equip to weapons. I'm fairly certain they're all dead. Somebody killed them. That somebody being me. Oh, look. A skeleton. He's clearly been here a while. Some cobwebs. Let me just burn those out of the way. And, oh, big old spider. Okay. Working on it. Again, working on it. Getting the big toy out. Yeah, no hugs, and yes, health is low, I know. This is why I haven't been using my minor potions of healing. And it's actually dead now. Okay, so I'm just gonna steal its venom. And then steal its kids. As well as this 3 gold from this burial urn. And this 10 gold and ring from this burial urn. Or just urns as they're listed. Yes, yes, yes. Looting the place first.
Don't leave me for Arcade's sake.
I'm not going to leave you. I'm just pillaging.
Don't leave me for Arcade's sake. Help me out of here.
Alright, now that I've desecrated enough of the dead,
Out of here.
what do you want?
Over. You did it. You killed it. Now cut me down before anything else shows up.
Why? Where's the golden claw?
Yes, the claw. I know how it works. The claw, the markings, the door in the Hall of Stories. I know how they all fit together. Help me down and I'll show you. You won't believe the power the Nords have hidden there.
Alright, hand over the claw
Does it
first.
look like I can move? You have to cut me down first.
Okay. So let's do this the fun way. Fun being with fire.
I can feel it. You
Okay.
fool. Why should I share the treasure with anyone?
Because you promised?
You dare fight a Dunmer?
Yes. Should have shared the treasure. Also, with an increased point in stamina, my carry weight's now 305 as opposed to 300. So, all of his stuff is now my stuff, and that includes his journal, which, I look at books. So, my fingers are trembling, the golden claw is finally in my hands, and with it the power of the ancient Nordic heroes. That fool Lucan Valerius had no idea that his favorite store decoration was actually the key to Bleak Falls Barrow. And now I just need to get to the Hall of Stories and unlock the door. Legend says there is a test that the Nords put in place to keep the unworthy away, but that when you have the golden claw, the solution is the palm of your hand. And, well, that's it. Now, I believe if you didn't chase him down and fight him like that, he ends up dead anyway. So you eventually get the claw anyway. Now, I could backtrack and go get the claw and all that and drop off the claw, but I need the claw for, well, something else. Oh look! One of the local population has decided to wake up. And he knows I'm here anyway, so have at thee. Really gotta be certain I'm within range. I have no idea what he said, and Magicka is now running low. May prevent you from casting spells. Drink a potion and wait for it to recover. Alright, and I probably need the magic for healing. But ancient Nordic swords. Ancient Nordic greatsword. A garnet, 3 gold, and another ancient Nordic sword. Ancient weapons are needed for something. I forget what. I mean, they're not needed for anything in particular, important, or special. And now I'm over encumbered again. Hey, this one's actually enchanted. Target dies within 3 seconds, it fills a soul gem. Where did I pick this one up from? Don't remember, not important. Anyway. Yeah, so I think he actually dies to this trap, so this is a trigger which springs this trap. So let's just walk around it, because I don't feel like getting hit in the face with that. But I believe that's actually what kills Arvel the Swift, because he's just not paying attention. And more ancient Nordic mummies known as Draugr, which passes for their undead. And I should have been sneaking around. But I was not, so moot point. Anywho. Let's break up the battle axe. And go to town. I know there was a third one around here. Oh, there you are. He actually has some arrows. Which is why I equipped the bow. I figured I'd be in another long-ranged arrow duel. Ancient Nordic arrows, which don't actually do as much as my iron arrows. Take the bow and the war axe. And I'm overweight again. Right. This is the one problem with picking up everything not nailed down, whatever can pry back up. I quickly end up overweight. So let's actually just keep one of each kind of ancient Nordic weapon. So I'll keep 1 greatsword, 1 sword, 1 war axe, and 1 bow, and the arrows. Because I feel like it. Actually no, the ancient Nordic arrows actually do more damage than the iron arrows. That's interesting. And I'm still overweight. So I guess I just start dropping armor as well. And now I'm back underweight. And we just search this corpse for more armor, which I can no longer carry, although the bandit iron armor is actually more protective than the steel armor that I currently have. Let's just drop that too. Sorry, the iron armor that I currently have. I don't want to drop it because I want to keep it, but that means I have to drop something else. So let's just start chowing down on all the food that I just happen to have in my pockets. the raw food, which would in normal days would probably kill the character, and I'm still 10 units overweight. Drop that sword. And yeah, I'm probably going to have to drop the iron armor. And look, another puzzle. Alright. That also caused more damage than I would have liked, and simultaneously less damage than I thought. But that's what healing spells are for. Also, the ability to shoot lightning from one's hand. I should probably use shock damage more often. A lot of things in this game are resistant to either frost or fire, but usually not electricity. And I'm out of magic, so there you go. Of course, flames are useful. In this scenario, where, you know, I just light the entire floor on fire because somebody left burnable liquid on the ground. That's a health and safety violation. Which is why I backed up before lighting it on fire. And you're dead. I mean, the Draugr, they start dead. They're just now actually dead. More ancient Nordic weapons. I'm looting everything and then dropping back down because I know the game will eventually despawn the enemies. I'm not so certain about the loot I leave on the ground. But, you know, this is all on the assumption I'm going to be back here to pick this stuff back up. And I'm fairly certain I won't actually ever be back to this place. Alright, that was a miss. And I'm seen, so... I believe the phrase is, have at thee. Oh look, a chest. 6 gold, an iron helmet, and a steel war axe. All of which I can't carry. Now technically I can drop the old iron weapons that I have. As well as the old iron armor that I have, but I'm a sentimental type of person in some ways, and I don't like dropping stuff that I consider mine, so... Keep thinking I'll be back here to pick everything back up that I'm leaving behind, but let's be honest, I probably won't be. And we just follow the water down to this cave area. Oh look, glowing mushrooms. Probably shouldn't eat them, but we'll harvest them anyway, because they're also an alchemic ingredient. I mean, this troll skull isn't, but it just happens to be sitting here, so let's leave it be. Because I have no purpose for it other than decoration, and I have nothing to decorate. Yet. Nice little waterfall. do one of those meditative shower thingies. Or not, because now everything's soggy. And nobody likes soggy things. Just take all this stuff, because it might be useful. And, that looks like a way down. But probably not that way, because that would require jumping down a very long chasm, which will probably kill the character. But, so let's take this way. I knew you were able to cancel a drawn arrow, I just didn't remember the button. Well, it's been a while since I've played this game, and I don't often play this game on PC, so don't often remember the controls. And here we are. And sneak has increased to 18. Hey, I managed to shoot that guy before he got close. I must be getting better, or just luckier. Anyway, once again, over encumbered. When did I pick up a second belted tunic? Alright, now I don't actually remember the way that I need to go, but let's head down here first, because... Alright, that's not all the way through, but there's a chest here. A chest that I need to unlock, because whoever put this chest here was smart enough to lock it, not smart enough to make certain it could stay locked. And inside is 17 gold, a filled petty soul gem, a potion of brief invisibility, a potion of minor stamina, and 10 iron arrows. Also the skeleton, which is probably the remains of the guy who put the chest here. Although why you want to put a chest down here at the bottom of a waterfall in the middle of an undead filled barrow, I have no idea, but maybe it's a burial thing? Maybe he thought it would be safe. Which, given the fact that if that skeleton was the original chest owner, clearly it was not, because, you know, he didn't manage to get out. Unless he didn't want even himself to have it, which is kind of, well, self-defeating, honestly. Alright, so now most side quest places aren't actually this in-depth and massive, because this place is technically tied to the main storyline. It's larger than most, so... Right, and I'm losing health, so... I managed to kill him. And once again, just drop his sword right here. And also, I am now at level 3, so let's increase magic, which auto heals all health. Now, certain skill points, like Overdraw here, have multiple stages. Now, while I could get Overdraw level 2, if I had the met the requirements, I currently can't, because it requires an archery skill of 20, and I only have 17. So since I'm using two-handed weapons a lot, let's actually go with Barbarian this time. Alright, and here's another chest, which has an apprentice level lock, which is actually slightly harder than novice. So I may lose more than one lockpick on this one. Or, you know, not. And I get steel Nordic gauntlets, which are better than what I currently have, and a steel battle axe. And I'm once again over encumbered. But I'm going to have to start leaving my old equipment behind. I want to keep the Novin's Hood because it's enchanted. Also leave behind all my iron weapons and, well, now use this steel battle axe. As I open the inner sanctum, I'm hearing something, and it's more trap. Alright, I only got tagged once, so that's helpful. Alright, now I'm not seeing the steel battle axe here, so I must not have favorited it. Yep, there we are. And this guy's getting up, so let's make certain he doesn't. Long term. And this is flammable, so... It's actually a cripple weapon in our other hand. Right, is there a way to turn you off? Yes, there is. Okay, cool. And down he comes, and that goes boom. And then I just do that. And I'm not about to step into the fire, so... Arrow duel then. As he progressively gets closer and closer and closer, and then I just do that. Alright, any other chests or anything else I need to worry about? Yes, no, maybe, probably not. Anyway, moving on. Oh, look, a potion of resist cold. That could be useful. Somebody else here? Or did I just kick one of the weapons I dropped off? I think I just simply kicked one of the weapons I had dropped off. And more flammables. Just in case that's important later on. Let's just burn that away. Now, in addition to using flame spells to ignite that, I could also shoot this pot, which essentially does the exact same thing. And oh look, my arrow's here. Let me just grab that. Then we open this door to this room. Which I don't think has any enemies in it, or at least this one doesn't, but it has a Nordic puzzle door, I believe, which is what it is called. And this is what we need the golden dragon claw for. So if we activate the keyhole, claw goes in here, and it's supposed to open up the door. And if it doesn't, I think some of them are actually trapped. And so this is currently locked, and you unlock it by activating these rings to match various symbols. And you know what symbols you need, because if you look at the golden claw down in the under at its palm, which is what the guy's journal was referring to, we have 3 symbols. So bear, bat, and then I'm assuming that's an owl. So we have to match the symbols on the door to the symbols on the claw. So that's the owl. I'm assuming that's an owl, so that's the bear. Then you need the bat. Conversely, if you have no idea that you were supposed to do that, you could just basically do process of elimination and then eventually open the door. And that's it unlocking, and then it slowly opens. And then the door goes away. You just simply walk through. So now we are now inside the inner sanctum of Bleak Falls Barrows. And that was the sound. Those are some bats. That's a river. And that's background animation, and that's background audio and some sort of magic wall. Well, magic emanating from this wall. So let's just keep looking. Not get anywhere near the wall, because let's be honest, a boss fight's about to happen. Some extra goodies in here, but if I take them all, I'll be over carry weight again. And again, boss fight. Actually, no, I won't be, but you know what? Let's save it for after the boss fight. Alright, where are the rare scrolls? Let's equip the scroll of Fireball, because I know what's going to happen. We pick up a word of power, force, unrelenting force. Alright, and find the secret of Bleak Falls Barrows and bring the claw back to Lucan. And here we are, Draugr Overlord. Alright, and I'm fairly certain that's the last of our Fireball scrolls. So now we get out. And he's now dead. And a Dragonstone, which doesn't actually do anything per se, but is important for the storyline, which is why I wanted to come here first. Then I helped myself to all the loot, and now I'm over encumbered. Again. Really should do something about that. Alright, so if we look at miscellaneous stuff, or not. Now here, Miscellaneous Dragonstone. So I can look at the Dragonstone. It actually has writing on the back. You know, I never actually stopped to look at this Dragonstone. But it has no weight, but if I try to drop it, it says it's a quest item. So that's how I know that it's important to the storyline. But I need to drop 3 carry weight worth of stuff. That's expensive. This is not. Let's just drop the iron shield. So now I have the bandit iron shield, which is better, I think. Alright, and then we can basically backtrack all the way through the dungeon, gathering up all the stuff that I left behind, slowly walking out because I'd be incredibly over-encumbered. Or I can just press this handle. This wall opens up. I can jump down here. Find this chest, which also has extra goodies. Grab these flowers, which I'm assuming were placed here to as part of this gravesite, but I'll take the flowers but leave the skull because that would just be rude. And then we leave to Skyrim. So it's just an easy way out. And here I am at the side of a mountain. Alright, so I'm assuming that there's a longer path, or I can just hop down the mountain cliff. Essentially Skyrimming down the cliffside. Yes, I know what I said. Oh look, a corundum ore vein, but I don't have a pickaxe. Corundum's somewhat useful. More than somewhat. It's used to turn iron into steel. But now that we're out, we can look at this nice little river. Oh look, a fox. I'll leave him be for now. And we just literally sprint across the landscape. And oh look, more thistle. And even more thistle. And a random shack. Anissa's cabin.
I'm just a poor old woman, dear. No need to trouble yourself with me.
Okay.
It's so nice to have a visitor. It's so nice to have a visitor.
So this is a nice old woman just sitting around. You can read her book. Alchemy increases by 1 point. I can take the book, but that would be stealing. So this is basically so some books, when you start reading them, increase some of your skills. And the tale that is in the book usually involves the skill in somewhat. So since this increased alchemy skill, it's essentially about alchemy, and it's an old Drummer or Dwarven poem, which is actually funny, but I'm not going to take the time to read it right now. Plus, it's not actually mine, and stealing would be
so
unnice.
Nice to have a visitor.
Cool. Have a good day. Now, most of the random places that you find in this game aren't that passive, I guess is the term I want to say. Usually they're infested by wild animals or bandits or other not nice things. So let's actually just hop across the river. I can pick up a salmon. One way to go fishing. Now, I don't have the version of Skyrim that includes a mod for fishing. At least, as far as I know, I don't, but... Here we find Ember Shard Mine.
You picked a bad time to get lost, friend.
Said the woman that I just basically, well, one-shotted, I believe is the term. And I'm once again over-encumbered, yet again. So just basically take all of her stuff and leave it in a pile next to her corpse. Because that seems like a good idea at the time, and let's just head back to Riverwood. I only showed up at the mine so that we can get it on the map, and here's a wolf. Here was a wolf. Alright, I know there's a road around here somewhere. Oh look, more wolves. I think they were killed last episode. Because this is the road from Helgen to Riverwood. And here we are back at Riverwood. And here we are back at the Riverwood Trader.
Show those thieves not to steal from Luke and Valerius.
Oh, I assure you, they will not be stealing from anyone. Ever again.
The sooner you find the claw, the sooner our lives can get back to normal.
I have your claw.
You found it! There it is! Strange. It seems smaller than I remember. Funny thing, huh? I'm gonna put this back where it belongs. I'll never forget this. You've done a great thing for me and my sister.
Okay. Alright, and now they are on more friendly terms, so while...
Thank you so much for taking care of those thieves. The Riverwood Trader is back to the way it used to be.
So while a lot of the stuff originally said steal, because we're friends now, he's just going to allow me to just
We're the
take
only
it.
people around who aren't complete fools.
Now, the poisons are still stealing, but, you know, I can take his wheels of cheese, his potatoes, his cabbage, his bread, his wine, the elven, his
The Riverwood Trader is everything you need in a general
rabbits,
store.
and garlic, and all that stuff. Can't take the weapons, though. But I can take the shoes and clothes and other stuff. Alright,
My
so...
sister Camilla or I will be happy to help you.
Forgot a thing of garlic, apparently. Alright, so now they've effectively legally looted from his store.
It means so much to us to have the claw back where it belongs. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe you're looking for something particular. We carry just about anything you could need. Take a look.
So if I wanted a weapon that can instantly kill a dragon, you would have that. The answer is no, because such stuff doesn't exist. Alright, why am I looking at his inventory? I'm looking for stuff to sell. Even though a lot of the stuff that I'm carrying I want to keep for one reason or another. However, sell this circuit, this ring, this necklace. These gauntlets. Now let me also sell the poisons, just simply because increase inventory space. So all the mead, because as well as all the raw meat, again, because no, just takes up space, and you shouldn't eat raw meat. Keep the books. Keep the miscellaneous stuff.
All right then.
And then head back out. And now if I go to the forge, I was gonna say I could turn the wolf pelt into leather, but he's using that
Take what
part.
you need, my friend. Within reason.
But if I go to the blacksmith forge, now originally I could only make iron equipment and all that fun stuff. And a lot of this stuff requires more iron ingots than I actually have. But because I put in a perk point for steel forging, I can make steel equipment. At least I could if I had enough leather strips and other materials. You can also make imperial equipment because that's apparently also tied to steelsmithing. As well as certain types of jewelry if I had enough, well, gemstones and ingots and whatnot. And I have 2 gemstones and 1 silver ingot, so let me make a silver amethyst ring, just because it increases it increases smithing skill. I also have access to bone mold now. That's interesting. So let's actually augment the weapons that I have. Just so that way they do slightly more damage. We can also increase the ancient Nordic weapons, at least the non-enchanted ones, but they're doing less damage than... I mean, they do about the same damage as their steel counterparts. And now he's no longer using the tanning rack.
New to Riverwood?
Let me turn these wolf pelts into leather. And he's busy, so I'm just going to be on my way. Alright, so here I am back at the start of the video. The only difference is A, it's daytime, and B, I've cleared Bleak Falls Barrows, which, well, is a side quest I no longer have to do now. So if I go to the map, the only quest I believe I still have available is get to Whiterun, which is across this bridge. And this way. Oh look, mushrooms. Did I mention I get distracted relatively quickly and easily in this game? And a elk, which if I had a better bow and stronger arrows to actually kill it in one hit, I probably would actually try to kill it in one hit. Same with that bunny. But, I'm usually chronically close to my carry weight anyway, and I don't feel like dropping random stuff off right now, so let's just continue on. That sounds like a wolf, because it is a wolf. Was a wolf. Your pelt is now my pelt. And we just keep running along, because I don't feel like walking. And periodically, you find random people on the road, like this guy.
I'm on my way to Windhelm to join up with the Stormcloaks. Ulfric has the right of it. The Empire is in shambles. They've banned the worship of Talos.
Talos is, or well, was one of the former 9 divines. Basically, elves, and originally he was the first emperor of the Septim dynasty, the rulers of the empire of which Skyrim is a part of. And when he died, the people declared him a god. So they went from 8 divines to 9. The elven people, who see themselves as, well, for lack of a better term, better than everybody else, determined that having a god that was once human was not proper. So they decided that no, there are only going to be 8 divines. And they fought a war over the Empire about it, and the Empire was losing, so they opted for a stalemate. To be fair, the elven armies that fought the Empire kind of, well, attacked without warning. So there's the whole stab the person in the back mentality in that regard, at least as far as I'm concerned. And, oh look, butterfly. You are not mine. The wings are useful for something. I forget what, but they're useful for something. Alright, and here we are at the farm.
Well, that's taken care of. No thanks to you.
Well, first of all, you killed it as I was walking up. And you didn't look like you needed help.
Certainly not. But a true warrior would have relished the opportunity to take on a giant. That's why I'm here, with my shield brothers.
And you are? What's a shield brother?
An outsider, eh? Never heard of the companions?
Nope.
An order of warriors. We are brothers and sisters in honor. And we show up to solve problems if the coin is good enough.
So you're mercenaries. And my options are, can I join you, or it sounds like a waste of time?
Not for me to say. You'll have to talk to Kodlak Whitemane up in Jorvaskar. The old man's got a good sense for people. He can look in your eyes and tell your worth. If you go to him, good luck.
Okay. And the companions are a faction, or guild, as it were. And they allow you to, and they basically have whole storylines equipped and other activity, well, attached to their faction, and they offer various services and other things that you can do. So it's a good idea to join whatever guilds you want, or in my case, all of them.
Fight with us and you'll have stories to tell. Come up to your Vasker, if you're worth anything in a fight.
So she's another companion. And this guy's the farmer.
There's a nip in the air. Cold won't be good for my crops. Never is.
So this is a farm. It grows things.
Yes.
And I know most farms actually allow you to pick up their crops and you can sell them back to the farmer for a small amount of coin. So if I take these eggs, am I going to get in trouble for it? I don't think so. That's the toy weapon. I want to jump because I don't want to walk around the wall. So if I pick his potatoes for him, and his leeks and cabbages, I can essentially walk off with his entire farm's worth of crops. I was hoping there'd be wheat here. Wheat's useful for healing potions. Or I should be able to.
There's a nip in the air.
Yeah, I have cabbages and potatoes to sell.
Never is.
For some reason, it won't let me sell back his leeks.
Honest pay for honest work.
And basically, I trade 18 cabbages for 36 gold.
Honest pay for honest work. You should buy some produce from Carlotta's stall. Most of it comes from my farm.
And 12 potatoes for 12 gold. But it won't sell me. It won't allow me to sell him back his leeks. Weird. Anyway, it's a small amount of way to get a small amount of gold. Much like chopping firewood and selling it to an innkeeper. Just more busy work. And here we have a stables, where I can buy or otherwise acquire a horse, which is useful for traveling around.
Got the fleetest steeds in all of Skyrim. Man like you needs a war horse, I reckon.
So how old are your horses?
None of them's older than 9, and the youngest is 6. Now the horse I got for sale is 7 years old, but in fine health. She's got a lot of spirit, that one. We've taken to calling her Queen Aufsiger, or just Allie for short. I expect you can name her anything you like, once she's yours.
Or just not name the horse, because horses have a tendency to die relatively quickly. Can I buy a horse?
So, got one all saddled if you've got the coin.
And how much coin is it? Oh, 1,000 coin.
Suit yourself.
How much coin do I have?
Right.
I actually have enough to buy the horse. That's 1,690. And more mountain flowers. And Khajiit encampment is right here, and they basically peddle small amounts of wares.
Warm sands, friend. How may this one serve you?
So look at what they have to sell.
Take a look.
You got a couple weapons. Sword that does fire damage. Weapons that drain fatigue, or release damage fatigue. Or stamina, I should say. Some apparel. Some of it's enchanted. A couple of potions. Some moon sugar, which is an alchemic ingredient. And then various pelts and extra knickknacks and other stuff. Now with one DLC expansion, you can actually start your own family, not in the traditional sense, but in base game you can find a wife or a husband if you so choose, and in one of the DLC expansions you can adopt kids. So you can start your own family, if that's what you so choose to do, and going from
with us and you'll have stories to tell. Come up to your Vasker if you're worth anything in a fight.
Farm and talking to all these people, the companions still haven't actually gotten here.
City's closed with the dragons about. Official business only.
Okay, so because this is my first time to Whiterun, the guard stops me and says that the city is closed even though everybody else is being able to walk in and out. And my options are Riverwood calls for the Earl's aid. I have news from Helgen about the dragon attack, which requires a persuasion check or skill. Will this change your mind, which is just a straight up bribe, or stand aside, or else, which is to intimidate. And I probably shouldn't piss off the guards of the major city that's nearby, so yeah, I'm not confident in my speech skills, so let's not persuade. Let's just say Riverwood calls for the Earl's aid.
Riverwood's in danger too. You better go on in. You'll find the Jarl in Dragon's Reach, at the top of the hill.
Which is largely why I'm here. And so I open up to open up the doors to Whiterun, and here we are. Whiterun has been discovered.
We'll pay whatever it takes, but we must have more swords for the Imperial soldiers.
I just can't fill an order that size on my own. Why don't you swallow that stubborn pride of yours and ask Yorland Greymane for help?
I'd sooner bend my knee to Ulfric's Stormcloak. Besides, Greymane would never make steel for the Legion.
Have it your way. I'll take the job, but don't expect a miracle.
So that's just a bunch of flavor text. There's essentially two smiths in Whiterun. This lady here, and then Yearling Greymane, who works up by the Companions Hold, and he makes weapons for the Companions. And the Greymanes are Stormcloak supporters. Basically, the Civil War, everybody has one of three sides in the Civil War. The pro-Imperial side, which means you support the Legion. The pro-Stormcloak side, which means you support Ulfric Stormcloak and want Skyrim out of the Empire and away from the Legion. Or you just don't give a darn and are indifferent to the matter. Basically, Group 3 is the smallest of the three, and they usually get sandwiched between the two. And all of Skyrim is on one side or the other, except the indifferent people who get squeezed in between the two. And that's an entire storyline for, well, not right now. Speaking also of not right now, I can go see the Jarl, but that leads to an entirely another bit, and this video is already long. So now that we're at Whiterun, we can take in the gander of the initial entranceway to Whiterun and basically head off to do other things, which I shall do next time, because I'm going to call it here.
Everybody stay safe from the plague, and have a good day.